How far can we trust this semiconductor rally? It's getting clobbered for most of May. The semis have roared higher in the past couple of weeks. Investors are betting that the group will bottom, something that seems a lot more likely if the Fed is willing to cut interest rates to boost the economy. At the same time, these buyers believe that the trade war with China won't get too out of hand because many of the semis do a ton of business in the PRC. Well, exhibit A of what I think can come back first is Marvell Technology. It's a company that's a major player in 5G, the cloud, artificial intelligence, enterprise hardware, autos. When Marvell reported a week and a half ago, the results came in better than expected. Guidance was tempered by this Huawei blacklist, but not so bad. Since then, the stock has steadily worked its way higher. So can it keep climbing? Let's check in with Matt Murphy. He's the president and CEO of Marvell Technology. Get a better sense of how his company's doing, where it's headed. Mr. Murphy, welcome back to Mad Money. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Have a seat. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I've got to tell you something, Matt. You have one of the most exciting companies I've ever seen, and yet it wasn't exciting even 5 years ago. Just give us a little bit of the arc here, because it's such a different company from what people think it is.
Sure, yeah, no, it's been a major transformation. So I joined 3 years ago, and we went through a pretty significant overhaul of the board, the management team, and a big pivot in the strategy. But the strategy pivot was absolutely spot on, which was to really focus on the infrastructure market around storage and networking. And in the process, we got the financials cleaned up, we transformed the company, and then did a major acquisition 5 quarters after we all got there.
Balance sheet looks great now. Storage and network, what we have to explain is that there's different end markets in storage and in networking. And the one that everyone's interested in is what's going to happen to telecommunications. And you, I think, are the easiest and clearest and best way to play the biggest cycle out there, which is 5G.
Correct. Yeah, this 5G cycle is just starting.
Right.
We're not even in the first inning yet. And when you look at the prior cycles of 3G, 4G, and now 5G, these are 7 to 10 year cycles. Okay. And so from an infrastructure point of view, right, which is the network that needs to get built to support all the devices, that's going to be starting now and really building robustly in calendar year 20.
What are the key technologies that are needed to win in that market?
Yeah, if you want to be a leader in the infrastructure market to support these customers, you need to have expertise in processors, expertise in networking, expertise in storage, and security, which kind of is a thread that goes across all of it.
That's you.
That's us.
That's you.
That's us.
And I think that there's some things that people, a lot of moving parts. The conference call had encapsulated all of them, but you have Avira, which this is an old IBM business that turned out to be, I think, very pristine. Then you have Quantia. This is another business that's for the future of connected cars, which our viewers really love. Yep. And then you got rid of the business that I hated. You got rid of the Wi-Fi business. But to NXPI, and we like NXPI, but it is slower. You were buying cheap and selling dear, which is what we want.
That's right. That's right. So we had a very busy May. So we actually did 4 deals in May, 2 acquisitions that you mentioned. We did a divestiture, and then we did a strategic partnership. So just quickly on the first 2.
Sure, please.
So on Quantia, which is the first one we announced, that's really a play on connected car. And if you think about what's going to happen in the future on where the automotive market is headed, it's going to be about autonomous vehicles, it's going to be about electrification, and it's going to be about safety and security. And you're going to have a best-in-class network inside your car to enable all these different sensors, cameras, LiDARs, radars, everything to connect. It's going to need a high-speed network inside the car.
And just, I think you would say, everything right now is just kind of flotsam and jetsam. They're all put in because as each new technology comes along, they plug it in. There's no system that it's on.
That's right. Today's cars, if you look at it, have sometimes up to 100 what they call ECUs, or electronic control units.
Well, that's crazy.
Stashed all around the car. And they're all connected today typically by legacy, slower, analog interfaces. In the future, if you want to do it right, you actually want to have a packet-based network, right, which would be based on Ethernet technology, which is fast, secure, and scalable.
At the same time, I know that people were upset that you lost maybe this Huawei situation, but you have everybody else, right? I mean, you don't need Huawei.
Yeah, when you look at 5G, we're extremely well positioned with, especially if you look at the players that are going to do well in the U.S. rollout of 5G, we're going to have very good position.
You have great relationship with Samsung, which has come on very strong.
That's true. We announced a strategic partnership with them.
Right. Historically, Ericsson and Nokia are terrific, which leads me to think that I don't really have that much tariff exposure if I buy Marvell stock.
Other than the global issues that are, quite frankly, putting pressure on the entire space, right? All of Marvell included, our peer companies. That's certainly affecting the industry. But from a Marvell point of view, when you think about 5G, the initial rollouts being in South Korea, United States, Japan, we'll do extremely well in.
So I want people to understand that when you got rid of Wi-Fi, you doubled down on the area that our viewers think is the most exciting. You doubled down on 5G. That's
right. So with Avera, which was the second acquisition that we announced, their biggest end market exposure is actually base stations, which is going to be levered to 5G. So that's one positive. The second is it gets us into a new custom chip design business, which we really like. So just to break it down for you financially,
yes, please.
We're acquiring $400 million plus of revenue. We're going to pay about 3 times for that revenue.
Very cheap, right?
In this market, very cheap, relatively.
Right.
The Wi-Fi business, we're selling for 6 times revenue to NXP. And so the net effect is we'll be able to pay for these 2 acquisitions, have $500 million left over, and we'll be able to go off and, deploy that capital back to shareholders.
This is a great story. How much different was it before you came in? Now it's a great story. Congratulations to you for what you've done. Congratulations. That's Matt Murphy. He's the president and CEO of Marvell Technology Group. That's MRVL. This is it, people. You keep asking for a 5G story. I'm not going any further than Marvell. Mad Money's back in the break. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.